Do you qualify for an IRS payment plan even if you owe more than $50,000? The answer is yes, you do. It's just harder to get one, okay? You owe 50 or less, you can set one up online fairly easily. If you owe more than 50, then you can't set one up online. You're gonna have to negotiate it at this point, right? With somebody over the phone at the IRS. If you don't have a revenue officer assigned, then you would just have to call IRS collections and hammer it out. They're gonna ask for a bunch of financial information. You're gonna have to, tell them what you're making, what you got. You're gonna probably have to send proof to them, right? And then it's gonna go for manager review. The manager's gonna look at it, look at your file, look at your case, and determine whether or not they wanna grant that installment agreement, okay? If you have a revenue officer, it's an even more difficult situation. They're really gonna be scrutinizing things very closely. Chances are, if you have a revenue officer, you owe a lot more than 50 grand, right? But yeah, in short, you can still get an installment agreement if you owe the IRS more than 50. Now, the bad thing about getting into an installment agreement if you owe the IRS more than 50 is that even if you get in that installment agreement, the IRS will in all likelihood still file what's called a notice of federal tax lien against you. This is simply a document filed in county records, putting the world on notice that you owe tax debt. This doesn't really hurt you actively. It really only affects you when you're looking to sell your home, right? Because the IRS will get their share of, your proceeds up to that lien amount before you do. It has effects if you are looking to buy a home, right? Lender doesn't like to see the IRS is in front of them in terms of priority. Obviously, refinancing your home, this can be an issue as well. So that's one downside to getting into an installment agreement if you owe more than $50,000. And whether you owe more than 50 or less than 50, you can actually still get into a hardship-based installment agreement or a partial payment installment agreement, also known as a PPIA. These are beautiful. These are wonderful. They're kind of a back pocket offer and compromise, if you will, right? Because you know the beauty of the offer and compromise program, right? It lets you settle your tax debt for less than you owe. With a PPIA, it's not an all-at-once settlement like an offer and compromise is, but it's really you paying the IRS back a small amount every month that by the time you're done with the payment plan, you will not have paid back everything you owe. The rest will just be written off because the IRS's 10-year collection statute has been hit. So most of our clients that we negotiate with the IRS on their behalf, they owe the IRS more than 50. And yes, we are able to generally secure installment agreements for them with pretty favorable terms. Sometimes the IRS will agree in our negotiation to knock off some of the old penalties. Sometimes if they're not willing to do that, they'll still knock off some of the future penalty accrual. So I guess what I'm saying is you don't know if you don't ask. And if you don't ask the IRS to put you in an installment agreement, if you owe more than $50,000, chances are they're just going to go ahead and start taking at some point, right? Wage garnishments, bank levies, things like that. So it's in your best interest to work that out. If you can get it below 50, okay? If you can get it below 50, and you can, there is a chance that based on what you negotiate with the IRS, what you pay them and how soon you're going to have your debt paid off if you go for a full pay, that they will not file notice of federal tax lien against you, okay? Lots of things to think about with installment agreements, okay? They're more complicated, I think, than a lot of taxpayers appreciate. They just think, oh, you pay off the IRS. Well, they're sticky, right? IRS wants to be paid off as quickly as possible. Oftentimes, taxpayers want to pay off the IRS in as long as possible, right? So they're very much a negotiation, just like any other resolution with the IRS. If you owe the IRS at least $10,000 and you would like a free consultation with us here at Choice Tax Relief, give us a call, 866-8000-TAX. That's 866-8000-829. Or you can go to choicetaxrelief.com, fill out the form on our website, and we will reach out to you. I have some other videos about IRS installment agreements on the side of the screen for your education and enjoyment. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.